Hi. This is stupid. Now, on my previous video, I sadly couldn't talk about all the major stuff for Persona 4, but hearing your positive comments, it looked like you guys enjoyed it and were anticipating for me to make a second part. And the video had a positive reception as well, so yeah, I thought I'd do a better job here in uncovering the game. Alright, so since I'm talking about Persona 5 this time, I'm going to be as considerate and careful in what I will talk about in this game, since majority of you guys probably started with 5, and I'm going to make the assumption that this is everyone's favorite game. So don't attack me if I get things wrong, okay? But I'm going to say this again, this is a personal video on how the Persona franchise had impacted me, and how I interpreted it when playing this immaculate game, so I'll try my best, alright? But hey, if you're new here, it's nice to meet you. This is pretty much a part 2 for this type of series I'm making, so you should probably check out my previous video where I provide context on what I'll be going through in this video. If not, which I assume you wouldn't, that's fine too. So while I'll be able to actually talk about nearly all the aspects in the game, there is obviously spoilers ahead, so please play the game before watching this. And what I'll be focusing on here is the music, combat, characters, main story, and a reflection on what I gained from the game's main themes. So yeah, I just wanted to keep this introduction as brief as possible so I can save time to share my experience with this game and delve deeper in its elements. So let me wrap it up and tell you how Persona 5 Royal had given me a reality check.
Beginning navigation.
Oh shit, here we go again.
So to reiterate my Persona experience, Persona 3 Portable was the first game I played in getting into the series, and it gave me the worst impression for me, which resulted me into dropping the game. I played Persona 4 next, and that was a masterpiece, because it invested me more into playing the rest of the games, with Persona 5 being my second game I would complete. Now, I had prior knowledge of 5, as I said in the previous video, so I expected great things in playing this one, because everyone knows about Persona 5, okay? So let's get into it, and start with my initial thoughts and first impressions.
Revealing dark.
I expected an intro, of course, when opening up the game, and yeah, guys, my excitement in playing this game got my toes curling. Nah, jokes aside, I was hyped in playing a new Persona game with a new cast, main protagonist. But guys, can we just admire this opening for a second? The blend of visuals and colors creating this comic book style gave me the impression that these characters are the ones that will stand up against corrupt authority. And for some reason, yeah, that definitely sold me. So in my head, I was reflecting back on Persona 4 as that game tackled themes of personal struggles and how they face them. And here, it seems Persona 5 will be taking a unique direction in focusing with our social surroundings, or in this case, society itself. And this idea that these are just ordinary students that live normal day-to-day lives, this comic book aesthetic also reinforces that idea even better in representing them being much larger figures that will fight for justice. Okay, that sounded a bit childish, but this is what I was thinking in my head, because, like, look at them, they are literally hitting buildings with baseball bats. But yeah, that is a pretty cool analogy I just wanted to bring up. And first time hearing the song, it was fire like always. Good job Shoji Meguro, you never miss with the music. But I was also confused. This was not the opening I was expecting. Where's my wake up get out there opening? The one I constantly heard everywhere. I just personally like that opening more, but don't get me wrong, this was a great way to set an impression for new players and fans alike. Now, getting right into the game, we are shown a black background stating that this story is a work of fiction. I mean, guys, come on, you really think living life was like Persona?
High school is not the way Persona said it would be, because every day I take the train to school, right? I have these headphones. I literally have the Makoto Yuki headphones.
Like, I show up at school, right? And in the past couple of days, I maxed out my stats, okay? My Riz stats, my Charm stats, maxed out.
Okay, but jokes aside, they were actually speaking facts for one of its lines. The one I had picked up on was that
the world is not as it should be. It's filled with distortion, and ruin can no longer be avoided.
Now that's deep, because I do truly believe even today, the world we live in is filled with individuals that aim to exploit or manipulate others for personal gain, and we are slowly leading into a world where we are deviating from the ideals of fairness and empathy with one another. Because reality is definitely flawed in ways people deceive us into thinking how the world is and how it is meant to be. In the next scene, the game presents a casino with people feeling unnerved of some presence lurking around. And this is where our stylish protagonist shows up. The man himself. Joker from Smash Bros. Now I just have to glaze the way Persona 5 introduces one of its gameplay mechanics. First of all, we are shown visual dialogues of mysterious characters who are only presented as silhouettes, while we leap across rooftops, swing from chandeliers, and dodge security, while at the same time the game's signature song Life Will Change is played.
It's not a cave, I'm not a robot, and I'm challenging you.
And on top of that, we are also given the opportunity to learn the turn-based mechanic ourselves. Overall, it really gives that momentum and fast-paced action that makes you feel like we're in that thrill of a high-stakes mission.
So you know that we are there. Smiling like still not naked. Yeah, look back, we not breaking. Can't hold on our life for a change. And you're mine. Out there. Took a mask off to be free. Falling out in the debris. Now we know that life will change.
So, long story short, we don't even know the events of how the protagonist is led to being here, but coming from them, it sounds like they are painting us as the bad guy. And we are also met with our prosecutor named Saimijima, which will be our main narrative anchor as the game switches up its storytelling through flashbacks that will eventually lead us to the current events from the beginning of the game.
When and where did you find out about that world? How is it even possible to steal another's heart? Now, tell me your account of everything. Start from the very beginning.
Persona 5 takes place in modern-day Tokyo, and our protagonist Ren Amamiya is introduced as we get a flashback of his past where he intervenes in a situation where a woman is being harassed by a man. So Ren jumps in, and the man retaliates and falls, accusing Ren for assault. And yeah, this is the reason he is sent to Tokyo for probation. Once we arrive at Tokyo, a weird app shows up on his phone and the public surrounding freezes, and amidst all of this, we see some blue aura. Okay, I want to talk about the setting here because I like to say personally that Persona 5 manages to follow that criteria of a perfect setting. The backstreets of Yogen Jaya encapsulates this realism that us as the players may feel as if we are walking through the streets of Tokyo, from its train stations, urban cafes, and shopping districts, and at the same time we have to manage our daily activities such as commuting to places, going to school, working part-time jobs, or even hanging out with friends. And the game does capture that relatability that we do in our real lives because these are universal experiences that many people can relate to, even outside Japan. And I'm gonna be honest, when I had to travel on train to go to my university, and when there were times of rainy days, I would open up Spotify and gave Beneath the Mask a try. Okay, wait guys, hear me out. This was a vibe, like I mean it. We learn that the person taking care of us owns a coffee shop called LeBlanc, and we come across Sojiro Sakura.
Yeah, my name's Ren. Thanks for helping me out.
You look clean. I admit I was wondering what kind of gangster I'd get saddled with. I'm Sojiro Sakura. One of my regulars is friends with your parents and set this up for you. But whatever. Come on, this way.
Damn it, why do these guys always have so much aura in this game? He's just such a chill guy. So it seems we will be placed in custody with him, and in the beginning of the game, he is a bit harsh on the protagonist. Obviously he is skeptical of Ren's whole situation, which is totally understandable. And I want to talk about what one of the game's themes it resonates with, and that's being societal judgment. Sojiro's treatment of the protagonist mirrors the societal prejudice Ren faces after being falsely accused, because Sojiro sees us, or teenagers specifically, as troublemakers, and does not want any involvement or responsibility of any trouble we get ourselves into.
Happened. Grievous bodily harm. I guess you can't judge a book by its cover, can you?
That's wrong. I didn't. I don't
want to hear any justifications.
His behavior emphasizes how society often judges people based on surface level information or biases that perpetuates the notion that adults have the authority to judge without questioning their biases. He makes it clear that Ren's probation is serious and any mistake could ruin his future. It just reinforces the feeling of being unfairly punished in a hostile world.
That's what you get for sticking your nose in a matter between two adults.
Anyway, by cleaning up our room, it gives us an opportunity in showing humility and a willingness to change and giving the impression to Sojiro that all teenagers aren't all perceived as delinquents. We are also obedient to adults as they will remain steadfast in their beliefs. And that's how it is. We fall into a dream sequence and we hear the classic Velvet Room theme. Now, this segment is pretty important to talk about. In Persona, the Velvet Rooms hold significant importance in tying down with the game's main themes, and in Persona 5, the setting is a prison cell. The prison-like appearance signifies how Ren feels constrained by society and the circumstances imposed upon him. Oh yeah, and we also meet Igor.
Trickster, welcome to my Velvet Room.
That is not Igor. Now, I was familiar with the Persona 4 Igor, and I was thinking, was this Atlus's attempt in making Igor stand out more with his appearance? Because this is a definite downgrade. But anyway, Igor and his assistants repeatedly emphasize rehabilitation and need to overcome his constraints and unlock his full potential. His...
Persona!
Oh yeah, and the new Velvet Room attendants are little girls. Yeah. Over the course of the beginning, Sojiro will remain strict with us, but was nice enough to drive us to the protagonist's new school. So we're introduced to our new school, Shujin Academy, and we got Kingpin, and the homeroom teachers that gooners glaze over. And I'm not trying to hear you guys out. You guys are freaks, alright?
Did you ask for me? Is it a case?
Not quite. I want your opinion on something.
Sure. Your judgment is quite often correct, though. Can we discuss this over sushi, perhaps? You are making a student work late, after all.
Conveyor belt only.
Adachi? Anyway, on the first day of school, can I just say this? I had gotten lost several times in navigating my way there. Like, how was anyone supposed to figure out? Ah.
I left early today, too. This is serious.
Huh? Rise. What is this scene, bro? This is so awkward. She's just gonna act like that was normal.
Good morning. You want me to
Dude,
give
that
you a
chin
ride
is
to school?
huge.
You're gonna be late.
Sure, thank you.
Damn it! Screw that pervy teacher.
Pervy teacher? Huh?
That's gotta be kanji. Alright, so we are finally introduced to our main trio, Ryuji and An. Now, first impression seeing this scene, An getting into the car with the teacher looking hella uncomfortable, and Ryuji following up with the words pervy. Persona 5, you got me hella invested now. Okay, we learned that the name of this teacher is Kamoshida, and bro, I love the first interaction we get of Ryuji. Now, I obviously knew this guy will play as the new Nyosuke for me, but I just admire his short-tempered and mean personality. Now, Ryuji is incredibly friendly. In the course of the game, he quickly warms up to the protagonist and treats him like a close friend, which is a repeated trope in the Persona series. His casual, sometimes goofy demeanor balances out his hot-headedness, making him feel more human and likable. He sets such a good impression because it's someone who's on your side, whilst facing a harsh and unforgiving world, in setting the stage for the strong bond we'll form with him throughout the game.
What? No other high school's got a uniform like this. Huh. A second year, huh? We're the same grade then. Never seen you before, though.
We take a detour into an alleyway, and instead of us coming across Shujin Academy, we are instead met with a castle. So anyway, we come across face to face with these guards, and Ryuji being the smartass he is, yeah, we get bodied and locked up. Again, Kamoshida shows up this time, but his attire is different. Now, this just reminded me of the previous dialogue with Ryuji because he betrayed the character to be a king of a castle, so that was great foreshadowing. And this guy isn't wearing any pants. And Ryuji gets fucked up again.
Where'd your energy from earlier go? A peasant like you isn't worth beating. I'll have you killed right now.
But what can we do? We're just students, and our voices are rarely heard, and our opinions are always dismissive. We could never have the power or influence to teach an adult a lesson. After all, society is corrupted, right?
Are you simply going to watch? Here in his final moments, you would forsake him. Nothing awaits him but death. Did you make the wrong choice then, too?
I didn't. No.
Very well. I have taken heed of your resolve. Bow to me!
Bow to me. I am thou art I. Thou who art willing to perform all sacrilegious acts for thine own justice. Call upon my name and release thy rage. Show the strength of thy will to ascertain all on thine own, though thou be chained to hell itself!
Come! Arsene!
This can't be real.
Guys, what just happened? So this is a pivotal moment where Ren stands up against injustice and oppression by rejecting the world's unfairness. Throughout Persona 5, one of the core themes is rebellion against corrupt systems, whether it's the societal or personal forces that control and oppress individuals. And his awakening and transformation into Arsene is the literal and metaphorical moment he takes control of his own destiny. Arsene represents Joker's will to assert himself and create a life on his own terms. By awakening to Arsene, Joker steps into a role of power and authority, no longer content to simply accepting the roles others have placed him in, ready to fight against societal wrongs and push back against forces that try to control him.
It's time. There! You little...
Ha! You like that, you son of a bitch?
Yep, he's going in S tier for me. So after locking up Kamoshida, we come across a voice asking for help.
Hey!
Oh boy. Now guys, I knew by now each Persona game had a mascot or some talking animal that would make an appearance. This is one of the flaws in this game that I could not enjoy. Probably the first time I genuinely did not like a character. And you know why? Okay, obviously no diss to the voice actor. But Morgana's guidance throughout this dungeon comes off as overly bossy and condescending, especially when he constantly lectures or scolds the group. His tone just feels dismissive and being a know-it-all and always makes it sound like you're being talked down to, which just makes it harder to immediately warm up to him. Now I get it, he is supposed to teach you the ropes of learning the game, but even I'd prefer a black box of text telling me than this pussy cat.
What are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm lowering the bridge. You, frizzy hair. It seems like you pick up on things faster than our blondie over here.
The fuck?
After escaping, we finally make it back to the real world and come across the real Kamoshida.
You seem so carefree, Sakamoto. Quite a difference from when you did morning practice for the track team.
Shut up! It's your fault that it...
How dare you speak that way to Mr. Kamoshida?
He's the one that provoked me!
In any case, you'll have to explain yourself. Follow me.
What? This is bullshit!
Come now, I should have been more considerate too. Let's just say that we were both to blame. I'm sure you've heard from the principal, but cause any trouble and you'll be expelled. Understand?
Yeah, I know what's behind you. I know you're a freak in the inside.
Good luck trying to enjoy your new school life.
As a gold medal athlete and teacher, he uses his status to dominate and exploit students without a fear of consequence. His unchecked tyranny reflects the systemic corruption the Phantom Thieves aim to unfold. And the way this works is because his position as a teacher who should nurture and protect makes his betrayal more egregious to hate this guy. His real-world self and shadow self illustrate this through the dynamics of abuse and manipulation he represents, which are rooted in real-world issues, such as workplace harassment, bullying, or even far more worse, sexually harassing students as a teacher. All these elements are beautifully executed to create a villain that motivates us as the players to put an end to his actions. More questions are unanswered when we eventually come across the girl again, who says lies when students are gossiping about her relationship with Kamoshida. Obviously, we need to get more into it as the game unfolds. Now, I want to get into more depth of the characters in this section. Our teacher Kawakami explicitly tells Ren not to associate with Ryuji as he upholds a reputation as a troublemaker. This frames Ryuji as an outsider, much like Ren as well, and players are inclined to question whether labeling Ryuji like this is even fair.
Speak of the devil. What do you want? I heard the police caught you cutting classes today.
It was nothing.
And you haven't dyed your hair back to black either.
Sorry about that.
His hot-headedness and impulsive behavior reinforces this perception to everyone, where he is quick to anger and lashes out at authority figures where he doesn't seem to care about his reputation at all. While he seems like a stereotypical angry teen, his frustration feels authentic and it invites players to question what's behind his rebellious demeanor.
Try not to stick too close to him. He's nothing but trouble.
Why is that?
He wasn't always this way. He used to be different before the track team disbanded.
We'll learn more about Ryuji's anger, revealed to be rooted in trauma and injustice. Despite his rough exterior, Ryuji is deeply loyal and cares about his friends, even when it puts him at risk. His humor and casual attitude makes him a source of comic relief without undermining his depth. He is brave and unafraid to challenge authority, which makes him a valuable ally as we traverse back into the castle.
I definitely don't want to go back by myself, but I don't really got a choice. If I do nothing, I'll just keep ruining my life. I'm done with being kicked around. It's his turn.
Overall, Ryuji's story mirrors with you as the player, in both being judged unfairly by society and becoming victims to adults abusing their power.
You know, we might be pretty similar. I feel like we're gonna get along just fine as troublemakers. I'm Ryuji Sakamoto.
While we were able to gain a friend at school, the tone shifts once again to its themes with Sojiro.
I hear you ditched half a day on your first day of school, just when I was thinking you had it together this morning. Look, just behave yourself. One wrong step and your life is over. You do know what probation means, right?
Again, we are still stuck in a world where adults are the main sources of authority that tells us what to do. Anyway, we again come across Shadow Kamoshida, and we are given more context with Ryuji's hatred for him.
How far the star runner of the track team has fallen.
What the hell are you getting at?
I speak of the track trader, who acted in violence, ending his teammates' dreams.
Kamoshida physically abused the team and injured Ryuji's leg when he stood up to him. Ryuji's frustration with his abusive coach, Kamoshida, has been an oppression for years, and when you see the depths of his anger and pain, it's deeply relatable, especially for anyone who's felt powerless against authority.
All of us feel bad about what happened to your leg and all, but you can't keep blaming him for it.
All we're trying to say is leave Kamoshida alone. We just gotta keep our head down and lie low until graduation.
With just you and Morgana in this fight, we just get destroyed, and there is no one else to help us. However, our only hope now is, well, Ryuji.
Damn it. Am I gonna lose again? Not only can I not run anymore, the track team is gone too because of this asshole.
Are you okay with this? Can you forgive him? What he's done? If you want what you had, you must take it back!
Yeah, I guess I don't matter. My reputation's already been ruined. But you shouldn't have punished them for what I did. They deserve better than that.
All you think about is using people. You're the real scumbag, Kamoshida! Stop looking down on me with that stupid smile on your face!
You made me wait quite a while. You seek power, correct? Then let us form a pact. Since your name has been disgraced already, why not hoist the flag and wreak havoc? The other you who exists within desires it thus. I am thou, thou art I. There is no turning back. The skull of rebellion is your flag henceforth!
Holy shit, man! Guys, I literally have chills. The moment the mask tears off and Captain Kidd materializes is visually stunning. The pirate persona represents freedom, rebellion, and the defiance of authority. These traits make him more than just a rebellious teenager. They reveal him as a misunderstood, good-hearted person trying to navigate a corrupt world.
And now that I've got some backup, why don't you come over here and say that crap to my face?
Don't mock me, you brat!
Blast him away, Captain Kidd!
Kamoshida's cognition ain't changing, right? And I'll act like the troublemaker I am.
Persona! Let's go, Captain!
The enemy.
Oh yeah, about Morgana.
Oh! What a meowvelous and beautiful girl!
So, Ann is here now, but it seems like it's a being made from Kamoshida's cognition of her. And this is how he perceives her in the real world. Now, speaking of Ann, she's excluded by everyone due to rumors about her relationship with Kamoshida, and students gossip about her being close to him, painting her as someone seeking attention or favoritism, which she denies. The Shujin Academy is a toxic environment where perception often overshadows the truth.
Wasn't that Takamaki? Rumor has it she's dating Kamoshida. Seriously? I heard people saw them in his car together.
You know, she seems pretty easy, huh? You think I'd have a chance too?
Come on, dude. You can't go after Kamoshida's bitch.
Ann clearly dislikes Kamoshida's advances and tries to avoid him. Her polite rejections and excuses show her discomfort but also reflect her sense of powerlessness in directly confronting him. Moreover, Ann's best friend Shiho is a direct victim of Kamoshida's abuse. Shiho's friendship is one of the few positive relationships Ann has at school, which is even more heartbreaking for her. She eventually does open up about the weight of the rumors, her guilt over Shiho, and her hatred for Kamoshida.
Everyone says we're getting it on. But that's so not true. I avoided giving him my number for the longest time. He told me to go to his place after this. You know what it means. I've had enough of this. I hate him. But still, Shiho's my best friend. She's all I have left in that sorry excuse of a school. Tell me, what should I do?
She feels helpless while her friend is suffering, and it's clear that she's deeply disturbed, feeling like she failed being there for her. Despite her outward appearance, she is someone who seems confident and admired. It reveals her inner vulnerability and the disconnect between how others perceive her. Again, Ann notices how people gossip about Ren and wonders if he's a bad person as well. But knowing that you and the player share the same experience, she opens up to you more, seeing you beyond your painted reputation, and this is the bond you both share where your true selves are hidden beneath the assumptions of others.
Are you really a bad person? I've heard people talking about you, but I just don't see it. You seemed lonely. Almost like you didn't belong anywhere. You're the same in that regard. Maybe that's why it was so easy for me to talk to you.
This might not be any of my business, but don't let the rumors get to you, okay? My best friend is often misunderstood too, all because of her looks.
See, there you go, worrying about others again. But I guess it wouldn't be you if you didn't. 'Cause you were like that with me, too.
Now, before I continue, I want to put the jokes aside for this section in particular. If you guys are facing any similar challenges or are going through it right now, I know it can be a struggle, but I just want to remind you that you are loved, valued, and you're not alone. So, during in class, it is like a boring day like any other until a student directs everyone's attention outside. Here we get a close-up shot of Shiho standing near a ledge of a building. Without any consideration of her actions, it scares me, you know. In my case, my experience isn't as similar to Shiho, but just the idea of ending it all is a scary reminder to me. From Shiho, it made me relate to my own struggles with intrusive thoughts, insecurities, and self-doubt. and that extreme emotional pain that can lead to feeling like there's no way out is probably something people have experienced at times. But the fear and reality of those dark thoughts also made me recognize that, despite the pressure, growth over time has helped me develop a better understanding of myself. Now, I've came across my intrusive thoughts many times, wondering if I should do such things. Even wondered about my purpose in life, things like being scolded by my parents and not doing better than my siblings, or just taking harsh criticism in my young teenage days, which would just have an emotional toll on me. So I would try my best to hide my emotions, but deep down I was just hurting in the inside even more. Because I thought that why should anyone care to listen to how I'm feeling? No one is going to understand me, especially when I wanted closure from others. But even when I wanted closure, I feel like it would just be a sign of weakness, which is something I always thought as embarrassing to ask for. I was just very introverted and insecure about how people thought of me, and would always keep overthinking the words they would say about me, so I just take it and assume their opinions is what makes me, me. And points in my life, it always made me wonder what was the point of being here at all. Because life just felt worthless to me. I could never be the person people wanted me to be, for my friends and even for my family's expectations. But as I grew older, I never let that get to me when it made me feel like shit. And the truth is, no one is thinking about you. Because people are wrapped up with their own lives and struggles that you shouldn't have a care in the world. But sometimes when there are people that do always have something negative to say about you, they're probably lost in life as well. So I keep this as a reminder to me, why should their opinion stop what I want to do or make me feel a way that I truly don't? I shouldn't give any of that power or validation to them, and I know myself more than anyone, because I'll always find a way to come back to reality and to keep moving forward. But hey, what I will say to you guys coming from me is that you should prioritize your own well-being. While others' words and actions may weigh you down at times, you will have the inner strength to come back to reality. This is also the turning point for Ann, as it also takes an effect on her emotionally, and a crushing guilt for not being able to protect her friend and not being able to do more in standing up for Kamoshida's monstrous behavior. She herself serves as a way in recognizing the importance of standing up for those who can't speak for themselves, although she still has to suffer with all the mental pressure and physical pain as she fights the internal battle to find value in herself. As Ren and Ryuji go back to the metaverse, Ann as well gets transported and is immediately caught. From here, I could see what the game was doing, and it was working because they really do convince you into hating Kamoshida. The way he perceives his female volleyball students reflects the dehumanization Ann feels as well in real life due to Kamoshida's behavior and the school gossip surrounding her. Initially, Ann feels powerless as she's subjected to this distorted version of herself, and the experience forces her to confront the reality of how Kamoshida sees her and the lie he perpetuates. On top of that, her suicide attempt weighs heavily on Ann, and in this moment, she channels her guilt and rage into a fierce determination to fight back.
I couldn't take it anymore.
I forget that chick's name. But it's your fault she jumped, you know.
Huh?
You were so reluctant to throw yourself onto me that I had her take your place.
You bastard!
Is this my punishment for what happened to Shio?
That's more like it. You should have looked like this from the start.
Shio, I'm so sorry.
Is that it then? You're giving up? Don't you want revenge?
Huh?
She's your friend, right? Your only one!
She's been my friend since middle school. I couldn't fit in class, and she was the only one who'd talk to me. But what he did to her, he'll pay. That's enough! I'm tired of letting this scumbag have his way!
I've had enough of this.
You pissed me off, you son of a bitch!
My, it's taken far too long. Tell me, who is going to avenge her if you don't? Forgiving him was never the option. Such is the scream of the other you that dwells within. I am thou art I. We can finally forge a contract.
I hear you, Carmen. You're right! No more holding back!
There you go. Nothing can be solved by restraining yourself. Understand? Then I'll gladly lend you my strength.
Her initial fear and helplessness give way to righteous anger as she refuses to let him control her or hurt anyone else. Her persona Carmen is a declaration of her independence and power. While her appearance stands out as a seductive yet commanding presence, it symbolizes Ann reclaiming control over how she was perceived, and she won't be objectified or shamed anymore.
You stole everything from Shiho. You destroyed her. Now it's your turn. I will rob you of everything! No one's gonna stop me now! Let's go, Carmen! That dirtbag just sees women as sexual outlets! Don't make me laugh with that love bullshit! Come on, Carmen! Let's give him hell! Persona! Carmen!
You did it! They've fallen flat!
As we come back to Kamoshida's palace, I want to talk about the setting and core mechanics of the gameplay here. Kamoshida's palace perfectly reflects his distorted worldview, portraying the school as his castle and the students as his servants. First of all, the sexualized imagery of pictures and statues highlights his predatory nature and his self-image as a king that underscores his arrogance and sense of entitlement. Now, onto the ambush ability. It is one of the most slick gameplay mechanics with stunning aesthetics. From a person coming from Persona 4, I admit it was a bit dragged in having to hit them from behind. Wait, hold up. For a play advantage, of course. But in Persona 5, ambushing gives you a tactical upper hand and that feeling of outsmarting enemies.
Show me your true form!
Once that action is done, it smoothly transitions into the turn-based combat with their confident poses and the cinematic movements showing off their personalities. It's like the Phantom Thieves act like performers rather than fighters. And you know how this backs up? Because of the soundtrack. So when playing, I had learned that Take Over is a Persona 5 Royal soundtrack, which is why it is played so often when you are ambushing them. It's full of energy and it hypes you up and it matches the stylish defiance of the characters with the exaggeration of colors, with the black and red UI just flashing at you telling you to make your move. Do it. And this is coming from a guy that hates turn-based, and ever since I played Persona, it's changed my perspective now, because let me tell you my favorite part about why I love Persona's turn-based more. It's always the damn music. But what I mean is that Persona just makes you feel good when finishing off the fight. The soundtrack syncs perfectly with the pacing of the battles, making you feel like the music is part of your strategy, not knowing the enemy's weakness, and just choosing whatever ability you have. And let me tell you how satisfying it is once you exploit that and get the command to do the all-out attack, whilst timing it with the music. This is the last thing the enemies will see from you.
Whoa, hey, 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 hey!
The all-out attack finishing animation is the cherry on top for Persona 5's already stylish and satisfying combat system, and it's just a rewarding payoff after executing a perfectly coordinated all-out attack.
Don't come back!
Essentially, with all these grounds covered, this realism makes the story more impactful as players may see echoes of their own experiences or societal injustices in each of the characters' behavior. Kamoshida's abuse directly affects the main characters, making the conflict highly personal. With Ryuji's anger and desire for justice to take back his dignity, and Ann fighting for redemption for her friend Shiho, all of these motives are what pushes them to do one more thing. Now this is a cool section where the calling card is a declaration of intent sent to Kamoshida, warning him that the Phantom Thieves will steal his distorted desires. It forces the target to become fully aware of their crimes and guilt, destabilizing their cognition within the metaverse. For the Phantom Thieves, this is their act of rebellion, solidifying their identity as individuals of justice.
Tomorrow's finally the day.
So we send the calling card in the morning, and carry out the plan by the end of the day.
Correct. The effect won't last that long. Are you worried?
Waited too long. We're going to pull this off no matter what.
I think it's hitting him pretty hard.
Did you do this, or was it you? Was it you two? So you're playing dumb? It's not a problem. You'll be expelled soon enough anyway. Come, steal it if you can.
Judging from Kamoshida's response, I'm sure we had an effect on his palace.
Yo, pervert! Were you waiting to ambush us?
I just made it easier to find you. I'll dispose of you myself, right here, right now.
Where all of these moments lead to a beautifully crafted boss fight where you as the Phantom Thieves are finally assembled to resolve and fight back against oppression and reclaim their lives, destroying Kamoshida's perception of dominance and control.
Who rules this world?
What the hell?
I'm allowed to do whatever the hell I want!
Fine. We can take on Kamoshida himself. Everyone, let's do this!
Ravage them!
Persona!
Persona!
I always saw you as a condescending hotshot, but right now, you're just a pathetic loser.
Silence! I will let the likes of you have this!
Then we're going to up our game as well!
Let's go.
Scared? Right now? You're seeing the same view that Shiho did. I'm sure she was scared too. Except she had no choice but to jump. What will you do? Will you jump? Or would you rather die here?
Satisfaction after defeating Kamoshida explores more with the intent of the Phantom Thieves. They don't seek vengeance or death, but they instead aim to force their target to confront their wrongdoings and genuinely repent.
Just forgive me!
Shut up. I bet everyone told you the same.
But you took everything from us!
I accept defeat. You want this? Take it.
As a result, this persuasion leads to the real-world Kamoshida to realize his wrongdoings, as he publicly admits his abuse and harassment.
Volleyball team do something?
I have repeatedly done things that were unbecoming of a teacher. Verbally abusing students, physically abusing my team, and sexually harassing female students. I am the reason why Shiho Suzui tried to kill herself. I will take responsibility. I kill myself for it.
Don't run, you bastard! Shiho's still alive, even after all the things that made her want to die! You have no right to run from this!
You're right. You're absolutely right.
With this cycle broken, Kamoshida's confession also sends a powerful message that abusers can and should be held accountable. There are really sick people out there in the world, and the truth will eventually come to light no matter how carefully it's been hidden. Overall, this arc was really fun and intriguing. It introduces the way in getting to learn the mechanics of the game, how our new party members interlink with the main story, and the villain is great, and the expansiveness of the palace is visually appealing with not too many complex puzzles, so therefore I am putting this in A tier. Now, before moving on, I just want to take a break here from all that information and just want to talk about something random that Persona 5 made me wonder about with this detail, and it's this specific phrase. So, on the course of playing the game, I had noticed this on the loading screen. Now, this can be interpreted in many ways, and the phrase itself is not entirely specific, but the idea of taking your time is constantly present, and time is a central mechanic in the game that we have to manage throughout. The phrase can be seen as an encouragement for players to approach the game with patience and not rushing to complete everything, but it allows time to explore and make choices that will shape the story. In that sense, Persona 5 invites players to balance time between rebellion, self-reflection, personal goals, and relationships. So, let's take a break. After Kamoshida's confession, the Phantom Thieves celebrate their success at a diner, and they reflect on their victory and bond over their shared experience, feeling hopeful about their ability to make a difference. We then listen in with the adults gossiping about the Phantom Thieves, and they are becoming a topic of public discourse. Referring to them as world-reforming heroes sets the stage for their eventual rise to fame and the societal divide their actions will create later on.
It doesn't sound like a serious story to me. Some of the details are pretty far-fetched.
It's all rumors made up by school kids anyway. If it's gripping news, who cares if it's not true?
Okay, I feel like this segment got me pretty overwhelmed. It was just constant repetition of adults being superior beings that will look down on teenagers with the tendency to stereotype and stigmatize them without knowing the context behind them. During the celebration, we see someone familiar show up.
What the?
Ren reacts to Shido's appearance, hinting at a connection from his past, which will eventually be explored later for his involvement in the story. So he's gonna be important, I guess.
I just can't forgive shitty adults like that.
Yeah, you tell him, Ryuji. Form our team, and again we get a flashback from Sai.
Honestly speaking, that all sounds absurd. It's hard to believe that this is even worth listening to.
Bro, yes, this whole thing is stupid. Now moving on to the next arc of the plot, we get introduced to our next villain and proving to Sai what we are saying is true.
Ichiryusai Madarame. It's even more incomprehensible than Kamoshida as to why this man was targeted. Where did you come to know him? And how did you learn of his crimes when you weren't a victim of them? Start by telling me what you all schemed.
Did you wish to see me, Principal Kobayakawa?
You saw the state Kamoshida-kun was in, didn't you? It's as if his personality has completely changed. Unless you find whomever did this, these irresponsible rumors will likely never die down. Do you understand?
Yes.
How wise. It's no wonder you're our student council president. I'd appreciate if you'd look into this as soon as possible. I ask that you begin at once.
Yes. If you'll excuse me then.
Wow, so we got a snitch.
This place is off limits, you know.
We'll get out of here once we're done chatting. Anyways, what's Miss Council President want with us?
The troublemaker, the center of gossip, and the infamous transfer student. Interesting combination.
Okay, guys, can I tell you how annoying these types of students are? Like these teacher pets? Guys, I like Makoto, she's a good character later on, but this introduction of her shows off her annoying qualities, and I'ma just state my opinion about these types of people who even uplift this type of role. Like, being council president or a school captain, like, all the effort you do is never worth it in the end. I mean, yeah, sure, those students are obviously saying it's for my work resume or I need to show myself out there that I'm worthy, but in my opinion, I think it's best to apply to jobs at an early age. I feel like the workforce is most likely guaranteed to hire you that way, and yeah, it's a competitive world out there and it's hard to get jobs. And the reason I'm saying this is because I did voluntary work at school, and those types of skills didn't get me anywhere when I applied to other jobs. All what mattered importantly to the employer was actually having experience in an actual workplace that you can reference in your resume to show proof you actually benefited from gaining skills. So I just had that sudden realization in just focusing on this type of approach to match what is expected in the real world and what they want when hiring people. And they aren't going to hire you based on your quality sometimes. All they care about is that if you have the skills required for the job, then they'll take you in. That's it. I don't know, it just irritated me back in high school when people bothered to even do these types of roles because they like being seen on a pedestal, but like it doesn't translate to real world benefits. Unless you're being like the president or manager of some business, then that's valid. But yeah, I don't know, these types of people in school came across as annoying to me even when you're already dealing with the stresses of studying, and seeing someone embody the perfect student name is like, why? At the end of the day, everyone is just going to perceive that success is everything, but in reality, when you finish high school, no one is going to remember you, and everyone is going to be doing their own thing, and that's how life goes. You're just irrelevant after all that. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, just something the game reminded me when seeing Makoto for the first time. But hey, that's just my perspective, and maybe it's different in your case, but I will say that whatever you guys are doing in your current life, do what you want and choose whatever suits you. We learn mementos from Morgana, and it's essentially a palace, but instead of belonging to a single person, it embodies the thoughts and emotions of the general population, which reflects on the collective state of society.
So instead of many individual palaces, the general public has one gigantic shared palace. That's where we are now. Mementos. Morgana! Transform!
Bruh.
Come now, Panther. Ladies first.
Okay, man. So this will be the area where we grind and complete side quests in changing people's hearts within society, and the deeper you go, the darker and more chaotic it becomes.
There are millions of people far worse than me. What about Madarame? He stole everything from me, but you're letting him off the hook?
That's the guy.
Madarame? The hell's this guy going on about?
In the next scene, Ann feels anxious as if something is watching her.
Oh my god! That guy got off! Isn't this bad? Hey, at least act like you care.
I love Ryuji, bro.
Fine. Come on.
Huh?
Oh, look at this handsome fella. Now this is Yusuke Kitagawa, and we learn he is from an art high school and Madarame is his art teacher, which apparently will be our next villain.
You're the woman I've been searching for all this time. Please, won't you be the model for my next art piece? All that I've drawn till now has been lacking, but I feel a passion from you unlike anyone else.
This man's highly suspicious.
Morgana, chill out, man. Yusuke gets us tickets to go to the art exhibition, and Madarame seems to be a humble guy, which cleverly contrasts with his true manipulative and exploitive nature.
What's important is to distance oneself from worldly desires, such as money and fame. My atelier is a modest shack, but it is more than enough to pursue true beauty.
A shack?
We learn that Madarame frames this as a sign of his selflessness and dedication to art, where he prioritizes art over luxury or wealth, using this as a way to manipulate public perception and as a humble artist who sacrifices his own comfort for his students.
A master of the Japanese arts is plagiarizing his pupil's work. Only his public face is shown on TV.
Plagiarizing?
I didn't think much of it when I first saw it, but hearing Shack and Madarame triggered it. His treatment of the pupils who live with him is awful. He teaches nothing and bosses them around. He treats them inhumanely, as if disciplining a dog.
Who is it? Sensei is currently...
It's Takamaki.
I'll be right out.
Oh, nigga! Unbelievable. I've fallen. My ears burn.
Takamaki... You two are here as well?
Hey, sorry, but, we ain't here to talk about the modeling thing. There's something we gotta ask you. Is it true Madarame's plagiarizing stuff? He's abusing people too, yeah?
Are you serious? This?
Yusuke, best boy.
Preposterous! Not only is the plagiarism impossible, but abuse? He welcomes pupils into his own home. This is no act of violence, it is charity.
You might be lying about it.
I had no family when Sensei took me in and raised me into what you see now.
And I doubt that a cranky old man like myself could be liked by everyone. But Yusuke has done nothing wrong, so don't associate him with these rumors.
Onto the metaverse, the keyword shack becomes the key to accessing Madarame's palace. It being a museum, transporting us to a place that symbolizes how his outward appearance of the shack contrasts with a golden museum with his distorted reality. Okay, let's appreciate the beauty of this place because personally, this was one of my favorite palaces out of the rest. The palace is a manifestation of Madarame's twisted psyche, reflecting his greed and exploitative nature. At first glance, the museum gives off a sense of prestige and refined artistry, but the unsettling part behind it all is that the museum feels less like a celebration of art and more like hoarding stolen souls. The art on display isn't original, it's all stolen or repurposed, each piece representing a student or aspiring artist that Madarame has exploited. Some of the paintings even appear to cry out in distress, with their distorted faces trapped behind the glass frames, which can be said as a haunting metaphor for those artists who poured their souls into their work, only to have their creativity taken away. The room feels like a shrine to his ego where art is no longer about expression, but about serving to the master artist. Ryuji gives us a little reality check and perspective about how corrupted adults are in this world.
I just can't forgive Madarame, but what Ann said made me think. To Yusuke, are we just a bunch of thugs?
Obviously, we can't stand seeing adults such as Madarame exploit and emotionally manipulate others, especially someone as kind and genuine as Yusuke. It also comes into recognizing how complicated Yusuke's feelings are towards Madarame, and Yusuke isn't just a victim, he's someone who has dedicated his entire life to believing in Madarame's guidance, and Ryuji fears that, despite their good intentions, they might come across as reckless teenagers from Yusuke's perspective, and it bothers him because he genuinely wants to help people who are suffering and doesn't want to be seen as someone causing more harm.
If he can just get past it, I'm sure he'll—
That's exactly the kind of crap he'd say to justify what he's doing to you! Everyone else has run off by now, so why are you still working for this old dirtbag?
What's wrong with a student trying to help his master? No one here is the victim of anything! Don't you lecture me about what's right!
What's the matter with you?
Which can give the impression to Yusuke in viewing the Phantom Thieves disrupting his relationship with his mentor, and he is still holding onto an idealized image of Madarame despite all the evidence. And lastly, I believe this line also shows how Ryuji's past in being mistreated by Kamoshida affects his perspective, because he knows firsthand what it's like to be betrayed by someone you once trusted and respected, and he is frustrated that Yusuke hasn't fully confronted that same painful truth yet.
It pisses me off just thinking about it. Good people have to put up with so much crap while shitty adults do whatever they want. Makes me sick. I'm not wrong, am I?
This isn't just about Madarame, in fact it's about a pattern of systemic injustice that Ryuji can't stand. His anger is valid and it is reflective of the societal imbalance where those with power can act without consequence, while the powerless are forced to endure abuse and injustice. We eventually meet with Nakanohara again, who was a former pupil of Madarame and the person's heart we've changed during Mementos, and he confesses many key details about Madarame. First of all, he would steal his students' artwork and claim it as his own, presenting himself as a creative genius while profiting off their labour, and many students have suffered the same fate but were too scared or ashamed to speak out. He would make them feel like their art only had value because he approved of it, and it would make his pupils dependent on his validation. And on top of that, the living conditions of working in a shack is a sacrifice for their comfort and well-being to study under him. And lastly, Nakanohara hints that there's something deeply suspicious about the famous Sayuri painting that brought Madarame to fame. While he doesn't fully reveal the truth about Sayuri, his unease about the painting suggests that there's a dark secret tied to it. As a result, Nakanohara expresses pity and concern for Yusuke, who remains loyal to Madarame despite everything, implying that Yusuke might not even realize the extent of the exploitation he's being subjected to.
I asked him if he found it painful to stay with Madarame, and you know what he said? If I could leave, I would.
This sets validation for the Phantom Thieves. Madarame isn't just an eccentric artist but a manipulative abuser who needs to be stopped. The group realizes that Yusuke isn't simply naive, he's been deeply conditioned and emotionally trapped by him. Going back to the palace, while you and Ryuji are waiting for the lasers to go down, which is where Morgana must unlock in the real world, Morgana gets the door open, meaning we're able to get through the gates. However, back in the real world, we come across something interesting.
What the...
Isn't this Sayuri? Why are there so many of them?
Get out!
Sensei, what is the meaning of this?
I suppose I can't keep quiet now that you've seen this. Truth be told, I'm in severe debt. I handmade these Sayuri copies and have been selling them through a special connection of mine.
But why?
The real Sayuri was stolen by one of my pupils long ago. I assume they begrudged my strictness.
Sayuri. This is the real Sayuri. This painting kept me going. It's the reason I made it this far. Sensei, don't tell me.
It's fake. Yes, a counterfeit. I heard there was a counterfeit spreading around, so I bought it.
You're lying, Sensei. Please, just tell us the truth. If it's really you, Sensei, please tell me.
Foolish child, you still don't see? I found the real painting, but it can't go public. You can have it for a special price, though.
You keep going on and on about money this, money that.
You're supposed to be an artist, right? Aren't you ashamed of plagiarizing other people's work?
Art is nothing but a tool.
a tool to gain money and fame. You helped me greatly as well, Yusuke.
But what about the people who believe in you? Who think you're a master artist?
I'll tell you this alone, Yusuke. If you wish to succeed in this world, I'd advise you don't rise against me.
For Yusuke, he realizes that the man he admired as a mentor and father figure has been lying to him his entire life. The room filled with Sayuri serves as an undeniable proof of his greed and exploitation, and Yusuke realizes that Madarame never even cared about art or his talent, even the Sayuri itself, all mirroring to the idea how society often takes advantage of the vulnerable.
You are unforgivable. It doesn't matter who you are. I won't forgive you!
So, you repay my keeping you around for all these years with ingratitude?
It seems the truth is stranger than fiction, huh?
Have you finally come to your senses? How foolishly you averted your eyes from the truth. A deplorable imitation indeed. Best you part from that aspect of yourself. I am thou, thou art I. The world is filled with both beauty and vice. It is time you teach people which is which.
Very well.
Come! Come on!
A breathtaking sight.
Now this moment is the catalyst for Yusuke's awakening as a Phantom Thief. He understands that Madarame must be stopped, not just for him, but for every student Madarame has exploited. So Yusuke awakens his persona Goemon, where his rebellion against exploitation and his determination to express his true art freely can finally be done without being trapped by Madarame's control.
I learned much from you, Madarame. In order to see authenticity, one must be dispassionately realistic. With Goemon by my side, I can now ascertain your true self without any reservations. Persona! Goemon, strike!
Now, with Yusuke in our team, we again must send a calling card, and with that done, it's finally time to set an end to Madarame.
We'll do this.
Realizing that the real Sayuri was altered, Madarame alters the original painting to remove the child, stripping of its emotional core and turning it into a vague, impersonal image that can appeal to a broader audience. After all, art is subjective to the public's eye, and I'm not an art person, but if I ever were to come across an art piece, can you imagine like famous works like Van Gogh's Starry Night or the Mona Lisa? They've literally turned into commodified symbols just for profit, and it just strips away of the original emotional intent. And maybe even artists often feel pressure to create art that's marketable rather than meaningful. And just like Madarame, some gatekeepers in the art world may exploit young talent, stealing ideas or profiting from their work without giving proper credit. Oh yeah, I actually had a lot of fun doing this boss fight. The fact that there are multiple targets to focus on and just trial and erroring each facial feature was satisfying to me. Especially when Madarame makes shadow jutsus of himself. Which is funny because he likes to make copies of himself. Get it? Like the Sayuri? Get it?
Turn the table! There's no need to hold back then. Let's get him, Joker!
Now, let us strike! And the curtain falls.
After the fight, Madarame is no longer the calm, composed figure he pretended to be. He's visibly broken, defeated, and stripped of his pride, leaving behind a man filled with regret. Yusuke urges Madarame to confess his crimes publicly and face the consequences of his actions, showing that Yusuke has grown beyond his mentor's control.
The art world revolves around money after all. You can't rise up without any money. Yusuke, you understand, don't you? Being a poor artist is truly miserable.
A fiend like you has no right to speak about the world of art. You're done for, along with this whole wretched world! Put an end to all this and use your own artwork for once.
No, wait, please! Yusuke! Yusuke!
With Madarame's shadow defeated and his confession made public, Yusuke is free to pursue his own artistic path. The painting was stolen from his late mother, where the original Sayuri depicts his mother holding him as a baby. And the Sayuri isn't just any painting, it's a deeply personal piece that represents Yusuke's mother's final moments and her love for him. Yet, despite the corruption surrounding it, the painting still holds immense emotional value for him, and it's a connection to his mother and a reminder of what true art can be.
But I was right about the rush of emotion I felt when I saw this painting.
Ultimately, it's a beautiful arc. I love Yusuke and his eccentric personality. Madarame was a decent villain as well. And lastly, the representation and thematic meaning in the palace serves as a cautionary tale about greed's corruption of art and mentorship, where creativity has been twisted and genuine beauty has been buried, which I will also be putting this into A tier as well.
So, what are you gonna do now? We're gonna keep targeting big shots.
Why do you do such things?
It's to get back at scumbags and, like, society in general. We also want to give courage to the people that are suffering because of selfish adults.
For Ryuji, he's seen firsthand on how selfish authority figures like Kamoshida exploit their power, and to him, courage is giving people the confidence and strength to fight back against injustice, even if they're scared or unsure about the outcome. Whether action is flawed or not, it's better than silence. While Yusuke recognizes that courage doesn't always lead to positive outcomes, sometimes standing up for yourself can result into backlash, loss, or even greater suffering. And I believe the idea is that change and courage is uncertain and outcomes aren't guaranteed, but in the end, the fight is still worth it. While they can't control everything, they can make a difference with one act of courage at a time. Alright, with all that said, let's take a break.